It's another thing that I was looking up is as beautiful as these states are, that I've been going to, all of these states that people, consider flyover states and fucking, what the fuck goes on there? Just shitting all over them, even though they're absolutely gorgeous and there's great people out there, is, just the drug use and that type of shit is really fucking bad. The heroin, man, everywhere I go is this fucking heroin problem, and they keep linking it back to these, people having an injury. I saw this on Real Sports. People have an injury, and then they get, whatever. They get the fucking, what is it, Percocets, Vicodin, I don't know what the fuck it is, Oxy and that shit. And then when that runs out, they still want that high, and heroin is cheaper. And it's just like, once again, you would think, with all this shit of talking about terrorism, and people doing shit to this country, for some reason you can fuck with the food supply and you can get your own countrymen addicted to heroin. And as long as you got enough fucking money, nobody gives a shit. It's completely isn't that like an act of terrorism? Am I out of my fucking mind? How can you do that to fellow Americans? You're ruining people's lives. It's fucking brutal. But it's one of the reasons why I stay out of the politics shit. Every once in a while I look at the stuff and it just, I don't know. It's overwhelmingly depressing. I saw something the other day on, for some reason I was looking up Chelsea Clinton because I saw her on TV with Hillary, and Hillary was giving a speech right? And I was literally going there's no fucking way I can listen to that voice for 4 fucking years. I just can't. I am not against a woman being president whatsoever, but you cannot sound like somebody learning how to play a trumpet. I don't give a shit. You could have all the answers to the fucking universe. You can't hear what she's saying. My dog's looking at me right now really? So I looked up and I was just going how old is she now? And when I started out in comedy, she was just a kid. And, she was at that awkward age, and it was kind of this nice unwritten rule, you didn't make fun of her. Well, she was at a fucking awkward age, right? And I was thinking, what was she, 12 or something like that? And I went to go look it up, how old she was. Found out she was in her 30s, which fucking blew my mind, even though obviously it was 20 years ago, right? But what killed me is what I saw was they had a stat on her wedding. Do you know her parents fucking threw her a $3 million wedding? These politicians are so fucking dishonest, they don't even try to hide it. It's how the fuck could you afford a $3 million wedding? The most money either one of you ever made in public service was being president, which was $400,000 a fucking year. Dude, you make $400 fucking grand a year, they're gonna whack you in half. You're gonna maybe walk with 200, right? Nowadays, probably less than that, probably 195. Where the fuck are you getting off paying for a fucking? You got a fucking $3 million wedding, a house on fucking Martha's Vineyard. Give me a fucking break. These cunts go around, right? I got another Hershey's Kiss in my mouth, so I'm telling the truth. These guys go around, they just give speeches. Him and his wife. $250,000, $300,000 a fucking whack. Just giving speeches. Can you imagine paying $300,000 to listen to somebody for an hour and go, right, for a fucking hour? And now you got sickly Clinton with that awful facelift that he got, which just made his head look fucking huge. He's lost all that weight, and he got a chin, whatever the fuck he did to his chin. He yanked that fucker back. He looked like a bobblehead version of himself. And I'll tell you, his shit's yanked back so tight he can't even clap anymore. You know what I mean? Either that or that's his true feelings about his wife, right? Which you can't blame. You really can't blame Bill Clinton for going out and taking a cigar and putting it in that woman. You know what I mean? If that's what he's laying next to in bed. I mean, Jesus Christ, if I was married to Hilary Clinton, she would have to have, those surgical masks that Asian people wear when they get sick because they don't want to get anybody else sick because they're fucking courteous, or because there's 9 zillion people that live next door. It could turn into an epidemic. I don't fucking know why they do it, right? I would make her wear one of those all the time because maybe then she'd sound like a muted trumpet. right? And every once in a while, she'd hit a couple of notes that remind me of a Miles Davis song, and then maybe I could just stop myself from strangling her in the fucking Oval Office. You know? Just reminds me like an animal that like is getting eaten alive. You know, you ever hear that? Like just like the time I saw that fucking monkey eating that other monkey alive, just digging meat out of its back, and things like, you know, it's sort of a like not as sharp and not as quick as that. Anyways, and then fucking that Bernie Sanders guy with his fucking you look at, you know, you wonder why Bill Clinton got a fucking facelift, and then you fucking got his neck done. Then you look at Bernie Sanders, you're like, oh, that's why. Jesus Christ, he looks like a bloodhound eating a fucking turkey dinner. Jowls flopping all around. You're the Federal Reserve, right? All of these guys, that Jersey guy looks all fat, and then everybody else just looks like an extra to me. Granted, I have not listened to one fucking word any of them have said, but it's going to be interesting. Oh, really, Bill? You think it's going to be interesting? A presidential election? That might pique your interest, you freckled, arrogant cunt. Speaking of that, how fucking funny is it watching how affected a very small portion of white women are with that word Karen? And they're such fucking idiots. They're literally trying to equate it to the N-word, saying that it's a racial slur. I retweeted one of them, and it's just fucking, it is fucking amazing. It is really amazing. And I don't know if I've ever really seen, maybe I'm just flaking here, as far as like a character on TV that really tapped into, in a real way, like somebody's inability to take responsibility for their action. You know? Back in the day when old Billy Broadbrush came on, you know, I fucking slapped the paint all these fucking broads, none of them take responsibility for their fucking, you know, it's men and women. It's a small, like, I don't know, I'm gonna go positive here and say it's a small portion.
Hey, bitch. The next time, hey. The next time you talk that shit to me, I'ma beat your ass. You rude ass, tall, ugly Steven Seagal looking ass bitch. The fuck?
Did white guys ever get fucking annoyed with cracker? It's just like, you're white, it's a name, you're gonna be fine. You know? Or maybe see more modern. They're like fucking white guys saying that calling them a Chad or a Brad is offensive, and like, you know, dude, you know, bro, just for like the record, bro, like I have one of my best friends, Chad, is like the fucking like best bro that I know, dude, you know? I actually, you know, the thing that actually bothers me, it's not the word, it's the that whole bro thing. That automatically, that if you wear a hat on backwards and you're good at sports, that means you're a particular type of person. Where on the other side, if you're into Star Wars, if you're into like sci-fi and you suck at sports, that automatically means that you're a good person. That's the what I kind of got a kick out of. You know, oh, so if I can catch a ball, that means I'm a cunt. But if it fucking, you know, bounces off my nose and I bleed on my Dungeon and Dragon fucking set, then that means I'm a good fucking person. Anyway, it's all funny in the end of the day.
Black people who keep on getting shot and killed for no good fucking reason. And I, as a white fucking female, am fucking pissed about it. So this is the visual representation of that rage.
The internet is like that friend you have that for it takes you 20 years to be like, why am I hanging out with this person? It takes you 20 years to get rid of them because you met him early on in life. That's what it is. They're almost sentimental. And you didn't notice that they were, as their
life wasn't working out, that they were slowly dragging down yours. I say that as the internet and the power of the internet brought me everything that I have, I think. So I'm sorry, internet. Maybe I'm the thing that the internet needs to get rid of.
Parents, you said your mom was from the Bronx, so
she was from the Bronx, and my dad was from Paterson, New Jersey, and then they all kind of lived in New York for a while, and then my dad he was studying paper and chemistry, so in Lee, there was a mill there. There were all these little mills up there in New England on the river, and he worked for a division of Kimberly-Clark.
I hope they pour shit in the drinking water out there.
Dude,
after that gig. No, I'm kidding.
We used to say, man, if you're in a boat and you fall into that river, its acid will burn you alive. I mean,
know. They just used
it stunk in the summer. It was so bad. They just dump chemicals in there.
Yep.
You know?
Just wash it out.
They don't do shit like that anymore, do they?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's all good water. That's why we got the
water,
the tap water.
The earth.
I know.
And the air.
I know. That's what's so fucked up about all this shit that people always talking about on social media. Like it's this big goddamn deal, like fat shaming and all of this shit. It's like, dude, those problems are so down the fucking line.
Yeah, I know.
As far as like what is going on right
How
now.
about the air?
Yeah.
Or water.
All of that. Yeah, all the shit you need.
There's some place in Africa in 1 month they're going to run out of water. Period.
I can't listen. I can't listen to it because there's no fucking solution. No one pays attention. And then if you try to address it, conservatives blame liberals and liberals blame conservatives, and then they just keep plowing ahead. And
they don't want to hear what I'm going to say.
What are you going to say?
Well, I don't know.
No. Let's.
I'm pretty strong about people are fucking still they're like little kindergartners still. I don't care how old you are. I don't think the world is evolving at all. Maybe with technology.
Technology it is.
But it's the same shit. I cannot believe. Like, who gives a fuck about that and who gives a fuck about that? Oh, really? You really that uptight about that? Holy shit.
Right. No, I know what you mean.
Or like, some big issues, which I won't mention, where they're squabbling. Dude, just make a little adjustment.
No, but this is the thing. You have to dance around because you're like, some big issues that I'm not going to remember. You're upset about this. And I know every issue that you're fucking talking about, but you can't bring it up because then you have
That's my point.
You have 80 soccer moms. And this is the thing, 80 soccer moms will actually make the news because they're going to talk about that for whatever fucking reason. So you got to. It's
going to make the news now.
You got to dance between the raindrops.
I'm going to get my ass kicked.
Dude, we got to get some padding on this table. Any sort of shifting of weight.
That's right. So anyway, check. So, man, I'm going to get my ass kicked right now. But I grew up in Western Mass, super liberal, super Democratic. Just everybody, just when they vote Democratic all the way down. Doesn't matter if it was Hitler. If he's a Democrat, it's on the Democratic side. I'm just blown away. I call them vicious liberals. Now,
I was living out here. I know, it's crazy.
No, but people are so, like, a real true liberal was my dad. My dad, we grew up Jewish, but my dad would listen to Hitler talk just to see what he had to say. Wouldn't yell at him. He would talk, and then he'd tell Hitler that he was fucked in so many words. But he would at least talk.
What do you mean? He knew the guy, or he's watching the tape?
No, but I'm just saying
he's talking to the TV?
He's a true liberal.
I was just thinking, that was the ultimate, fucking Odd Couple movie. Were they, roommates in college or some shit?
No, actually, my dad was bombing Hitler in World War II.
He was?
He was in the bombers that just leveled Hitler. But my point is, my dad was a true liberal. He would listen to anybody. Didn't matter what it is. But nowadays, it's like, I call them vicious liberals. They're more conservative and radical.
They totally are.
A true liberal is somebody who listens and will at least accept somebody else's opinion, no matter how radical it is. Liberal is your open-minded.
Accept the fact that you have that opinion. You'll listen to it and everything.
Right. But you don't, this viciousness is it's like.
No, there's destroying careers. They will just, if you had, it's basically, we're liberal, think what we think. But if you don't, we're going to go after your career. And it's no different than I remember what happened to the Dixie Chicks when they just expressed their opinion about the current president.
Yep.
And I remember Fox News was saying well, they have a right to state their opinion and we have a right to have, state our opinion. It's like, you didn't state your opinion. You state your opinion, then you systematically try to destroy their fucking ability to earn a living. That's not tit for tat.
No.
You know what I mean? So, whatever.
That's what I'm saying. That's sandbox stuff. I mean, everyone's still a bunch of little kids still. See, in my family, everybody went to college. So, but at that time, it's like you do. So I'll be a music major. And I was self-taught drummer, and there was this one kid in Stockbridge. It was getting better. And, it's like, yeah, what are you doing? Well, I'm taking lessons from this percussionist from the Boston Symphony Orchestra, Arthur Press. Lived in, not Nyack. No. He lived in Newton.
Newton, yeah.
Remember Newton?
Yeah.
So, and the first time, so I went, okay, I'm going to take a lesson with this guy because I was real competitive, just being a jock and all. And but I had long hair down my shoulders, so I was a hippie jock, So, and I was always playing in the bands. I was, I was really popular in high school, and I have an identical twin brother. So we both were in the bands, both on sports teams. It was
both had long hair.
Yeah, Heckle and Jekyll. We were like
did you star in Lethal Weapon at any point? That's all I'm thinking of, those two guys with the long blonde hair.
Yeah. So I go down there. I'll never forget. I go down to Newton on a bus, Greyhound bus from Lee. That's it, from Lee. But I was hungover because I had been hanging out with the varsity football team, varsity soccer team, and the cheerleaders the night before, drinking vodka on a mountain. With a fire, just drinking vodka.
That's a good night.
Yep. And didn't get laid, but, I was hanging with those old, 2 years in high school. That's older chick. Right. You know what I mean? That's like big time. They have bigger tits. Everything is more developed, So anyway.
Stakes are higher.
Yeah. So I get to Newton. I'm like hung. I was in the back, probably puking in the bus. And I get there, and this is Arthur Press. This is old school. He goes, "What's your name?" He says, Kenny. Kenny what? Kenny Aronoff. He says, "What have you prepared for me today?"
Oh, no.
Yeah. What have you what? Well, do you play mallets? I'm like, "What's mallets?" He said, "Marimba, vibes." I said, "No." I'm getting smaller and smaller.
Right.
This is an old school guy, man. This guy's hardcore. Then he goes, "Well, do you prepare a timpani piece?" I said, I don't play timpani." "What do you play?" I said, "Well, I play drum set." "Well, come on down here. Let's see you play some drum set." Puts on Spinning Wheels by Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Mm-hmm. And I actually been jamming to that in my barn. I had a barn in Western Mass, and that's where we had all our rock bands. My parents we always had the rock bands rehearsing at my place. So I had a barn, and my parents loved it because the kids were at home. Even when we were smoking pot and drinking, there we were, Right. So I sit down, and in 30 minutes, he rips me off the drum set and points to a rubber black pad.
Well, how did you feel that you were playing? You're like, "Oh, spin wheel. I'm going to nail this."
I was feeling it. I thought I was good, but he didn't think so. So he puts me on the pad. Basically, he kicked my ass. And that was a pivotal point in my life. I'm like, a lot of kids would have gone, "Fuck this, man. I don't need you. I'm playing in a rock band. I'm getting laid. I'm having fun. What do I need this fucking shit?" But something clicked, and I have to say it's in my DNA that this is good for me. And my dad bought me an old set of Vibes for $300 from Carol's Music in New York. And now I had that. And
Do you think your sports background gave you that made you not afraid of new information? This guy's being hard on me, because this guy seems like a coach to me.
He was totally a coach.
Yeah, you're walking in the blue chip prospect. Hey, I got this all down, and then he just goes, "You don't know shit." Yeah,
he would. No, because back then, the coaches back then were like Marine sergeants. Back then, there was no hand-holding. There was no coddling. There was no entitlement.
I know.
There was none of this lazy shit.
No, they look at athletes now like they're all a bunch of date rapists and all this. They were frat boys and all that, and they totally lose the confidence that you get from playing sports, the ability to work with a group, the ability to get your fucking ass kicked and lose and shake it off, lose the quarter, win the next quarter.
Yeah.
You learn all this great stuff, but now it's just kind of, it's sort of like the nerd time. So their perspective, and they don't fucking play sports, so their perspective of it is as fucked up, to be fair, as the jock's perspective of them,
Well, you know what? While they're sitting there being entitled and waiting for shit to happen and pussyfooting around, I'm going to go over them and take what they're waiting for. Yeah, and I'm sorry, I am not going to back down on that.
That's how it works.
So, I mean, back then, it's like my parents were really sensitive and cool, but man, Dude, get your ass up. There was no, hand holding or entitlement. I'm grateful for that. I
sided with the teacher. If the teacher said your kid's acting like an asshole, they would look at you and be like, what's your problem? Stop
Exactly.
acting like an asshole. Instead of being like, hey, but you can't say that about my kid.
Exactly.
Take out their cell phone video, and then the teacher has to apologize because you're not raising your kid right. And now you're dumping this douche off at school, and they have to deal with your bad parenting for 6 hours.
Yeah,
30
exactly.
hours a fucking week. I mean, teachers are grossly underpaid.
Oh, dude, grossly underpaid. Why would you want to be a teacher? It's like you got everybody against you.
Well, not now with all these little fucking kids there, and you do anything, it seems they take out a camera, and then they're automatically right.
Dude, it's brutal, man.
I don't know.
I'll tell you.
We do sound like a bunch of old guys going, oh, my God, these kids today. But there is an element of, like, Jesus.
You know what? Fuck them.
You know what I miss? Shaking it off. Shake it off.
Okay, so check this out.
Fuck.
I really believe that people should embrace their fear, their anger, embarrassment, failure, all that negative stuff. I believe you should squeeze it, hug it, throw it away, and get your fucking ass in gear and move forward. I went from UMass to 4 years at Indiana, which is the #1 school. That school, my teacher was like a Navy SEAL commander. It's like he would try to wash you out because the school was #1 and had to keep that status. So anybody who was not capable, they would wash you out. He would just, I'm going to get to the embarrassing moment. This guy, I'd walk in and he'd be like taking notes on the last student, and he'd hit the desk, which meant, give me your lesson book. He'd open it up, be still taking notes, he'd look at it and go, oh, F sharp harmonic minor, 2 octaves, start with your right hand, 3, 4. And I'm still standing there with my book bag. He looks at me and goes, are you happy here at Indiana University, Kenny? Do you want to stay here? I'm like, holy shit.
Jesus
Because when you walk in, you get your ass in front of the instrument and be ready to play. You never know when a conductor's going to walk in and say, 3, 4, let's go. You have to be ready. He was training you to be a Marine. And this stuff carried forward into my entire life.
Aggressively woke girlfriend dumped me. All right. Dear Billy, I hate when you guys give me nicknames that I don't understand. Bella, because I feel like it's a good joke and I'm ruining it. Bella Costco, binging bitch. Now I got to look up Bella Costco. What the fuck is that? Is this something that I should know? Is there something I should know? All right. Belicoso. Bella Costco. Oh. Traditionally a short pyramid-shaped cigar with a shorter, more rounded taper at the head. Is that what I call a torpedo? Oh, I like it. Oh, there you go. There you go. I get it. Well, torpedo, I think is. I like the ones that are tapered at both ends. All right. Why are you bringing up cigars? You make me fucking go smoke here. All right. I thought they said my tits. It says my title is a bit of clickbait, but I got you this far, so no regrets. Oh, it's a bit of clickbait? Well, Andrew reads these, so, I mean, if this is just a long, boring one, because I usually find that that's what clickbait is. It's just fucking boring. All right, my girlfriend, or I guess my ex-girlfriend now, is a very good person and absolutely beautiful, brilliant, and caring. Fuck, I'm sorry. I can't stop yawning here. We are in medical school together, and we're dating for 2 years. Everything was great initially. We had, oh my God, can you imagine the combined student loan debt you guys would have? We had deep conversations and were each other's best friends. So when it came time to pick a hospital for rotations, we chose one in her hometown and decided to move in together. What could go wrong? This sounds great so far. She was actually the stronger voice in asking for the move in. I was down to do it, but I didn't want to upset her old school Catholic parents because I figured that I should be on their good side if I proposed in a year or two. That said, for the past few months, she has gotten more and more progressive to an intense degree. We started having political fights, and I really didn't feel heard. I'm left wing, but not as far as her. Oh. For example, my dad's mentally handicapped cousin, he had a virus when he was little that messed up his brain, runs a liquor store in this state that I'm not going to say. I just don't like getting people in trouble here. It got burned down on the second night of protesting, rioting after George Floyd got murdered. Our classmates were talking about police violence on our school message board, so I posted that I'm all for Black Lives Matter, and the message, systematic racism is awful and needs to be stopped, but this violence has gotten out of hand and needs to end. I just asked for things to be done peacefully. Yeah, well, you're kind of confusing the rioters with the Black Lives Matter people that were protesting, and you're always going to have morons. All right? There's people on the right politically that you can have a conversation with, and then there's fucking morons running around with their dick out in their four-wheeler talking about freedom, right? And then you got on the left, you got fucking people that intelligent people you can have a fucking conversation with, and then you get these fucking, I don't know what the fuck you want to call them, these people like, you should dress your son in pink and give him a fucking flower. Just like, I don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. All right. She then comes over to me in our bedroom and launches into this thing about how saying that I'm diminishing the movement and I need to not say these things to other people. Yeah, see, this is where it gets fed. You shouldn't say what you feel? How I need to understand the pain of black people, the pain black people are going through, and offer support. How it's not time for my comments because I'm white and have never felt systematic oppression. On my side, I'm pissed. My dad and uncle are now taking care of their cousin who has had very little income due to COVID and now doesn't even have a shop. Plus, there's some issues with insurance because being covered for fire and theft is different from being covered for a riot. I don't really get the financial details, but I do know that my dad has had to postpone his retirement because of all of this. He's 70 years old and is still working to provide for my family of 7. I told her I have a right to be angry and voice my opinions too. I also pointed out that calling for peace is not disagreeing with the protesters' message. I'm Jewish and have experienced my fair share of anti-Semitism. The anger I feel towards anti-Semites would never be an excuse to commit a violent act against someone. Okay, but in fairness, like the level of violence towards black, I don't think that Jewish people just get pulled over for being Jewish. I mean, historically, obviously, you've been through some shit, but as far as your existence in this country, you know what I mean? If you're gonna look at like March Madness, what are you ranked in the brackets? All right, I would say you're about an 11 seed. Anyways, we've had other fights over things like feminism. 16 seed. Oh, Jesus, I'm going to get shit for this. I'm all for equality between sexes and want to do my part, like taking on more child-rearing responsibility when I have kids. Hey, be careful with that, buddy. Be careful with this, because these fucking smart-ass women have basically downloaded a bunch of shit that they don't want to do anymore and have not uploaded any of our shit jobs. So the guys kept all of their shit jobs and now are picking up their shit shifts also. And then they're fucking sitting over there. They won't even make you a fucking sandwich anymore. Anyways, but I refuse to label myself as a feminist because I think there's a lot of negative man-hating ideologies associated with that group. It absolutely is. They're guilty of a lot of the things that they're against. Not cool feminists, ones you can actually talk to. They're very rare, like a cool sports fan that can admit that his team, got beat by a better team. It's very rare. I'm a bit of a cunt when it comes to being a sports fan. I'm just a bit of a cunt in general. Anyways, she is firm that if I support women, I need to label myself as a feminist. Fuck this fucking chick, dude. Fuck this chick. Fuck this chick. Otherwise, I'm denigrating her beliefs. I responded that I am a firm supporter of Israel's right to exist, but I would never label myself as a Zionist because I think the treatment of the Palestinians has been horrendous. All right, dude, you're really coming off like a fucking level-headed person here. Granted, I haven't been able to hear what your woman says here. Your property. Kidding. This all came to a head the other day when, after another one of these political fights, she dumped me and went back to her parents' place. Now I'm paying the full rent on an apartment that's way out of my price range because she insisted on a 2-bedroom in a city where I don't know anybody. I'm thousands of miles from my friends and family, and as a kicker, her dad is a chief attending at the hospital we're going to be rotating at, and either he or one of his colleagues will be directly in control of my first clerkship grade. He's a very nice guy and has always been kind to me, but I still feel like I'm fucked. I have no idea how he interpreted our breakup, and obviously have no control over his response. The worst part is I miss her a lot, and I'm more sad than angry. Underneath all of this, I think the woke stuff is an excuse to be mad at me. Yeah, I was kind of saying this is sort of a weird thing to break up with somebody over. So she either wanted to do it or just went off the deep end, which happens to people. I went off the deep end in the late 2000s, early, to go back and listen to those podcasts. And I was just talking about the Federal Reserve and all of this fucking crazy shit. Still don't think I'm wrong, but I mean, that's not a place you want to be mentally, and it just wears people out around you. Anyways, she has been upset about my lack of effort in our relationship for a few months. She constantly comments on how I don't take her on dates anymore, which has been hard to do with COVID, but honestly, I have no excuse. Dude, yes you do. You're in fucking medical school. You're in a 2-bedroom expensive fucking goddamn thing. You guys are both buried in fucking student loans. The fuck is wrong with this person? I don't know, dude. I think, once you get past this bullshit, listen, if you have a shot in hell at making a relationship work, you got to find a sweetheart. All right? This is the way you've written this. This is nuts. Anyways, I could have done more and I could have been more invested. I fucked up in that regard. Also, her parents are very religious, so I think moving in with me was a culture shock. And although she was the only one really pushing for the move-in, I think it got scary because that leap is a huge separation from her parents and her childhood culture. Anyways, any advice you or Nia could lend would be much appreciated. I have no idea what I'm going to do for the next year. I'm going to tell you exactly what the fuck you're going to do. All right? You're going to go down to that hospital, and regardless of how her fucking dad treats you, you're going to absolutely crush it. That's what you're going to do. Okay? And what you're going to prove to that man is that her daughter was out of her fucking mind to break up with you. Now, I'm not saying brown nose. I'm just saying go in there and fucking kick the shit out of the job. I would even maybe, address what happened. Just be like, hey, sorry things didn't work. I mean, she dumped you, though. So, I don't know. I would just go in there. It's a year of your fucking life. Kick ass at the fucking job. No matter what mind game, if the guy decides to play a mind game, which would be really fucking childish. All right? But you never know a dad with his daughter. Who the fuck knows, right? He might have even been behind the breakup. You have no fucking idea. Or there's the whole other way. He might know that she's out of her fucking mind. Who knows? All right? But I wouldn't bring any fucking baggage. Call the guy Dr. So-and-so, whatever. You know something? If he wants to fucking bring it up, let him fucking bring it up. And I would, like I said, I would just absolutely fucking crush it there. You can always break a lease. You can always get a fucking roommate. I'm sure you're going to meet somebody. Get a fucking roommate. Do not fucking get another girlfriend this quick and get him in there. I wouldn't do that either. I would just get another fucking roommate. I don't know. Do the prison workout. Keep yourself in shape. And I don't know. If you still really like this chick, maybe keep like a fucking open mind. But you definitely got to draw some lines and get some boundaries if you're going to get back together. All right? Just tell her straight up, like, listen, you were a sweetheart and I wanted to spend the rest of my life with you. And I definitely dropped the ball in some areas, which I believe we've covered. Because God knows she fucking read you the riot act. But you can reiterate them so she can feel validated. And then you can delve into her shit. and just be like, yeah, listen, this world according to Garp fucking lunatic bullshit that you've gone on to. She's not going to understand that reference. Whatever the fucking reference is. Okay? I am a human being, and I have all emotions, and I have access to all of them, and I have a right to feel them. Okay? And if I extend that courtesy to you, you need to extend it to me. And that's it. And if I can be adult enough to listen to your opinion that I do not agree with, okay, but I'll be mature enough to understand that you're allowed to have that opinion, then you need to do that to me. And if you can't do that, I'm not starting this over again. And I'll tell you this right now, buddy, that's the best you're going to do with that one. All right? Because this happens with people is they get into shit and they go off the fucking deep end. God knows I've done it. And it's not fair to the people in your life. So sorry that happened to you. Good luck. But here's the thing, dude. At the end of all of this fucking shit, you're going to be a doctor. Okay? And it's always sad right after somebody breaks up with you. But you never know. You might get back together. Or you might not get back together. And one day you're going to sit back and be like, what in the fuck was I doing in that thing? Putting up with that level of bullshit? Telling me what I can and can't fucking think. I mean, that chick is out of her fucking mind the way you wrote it. Although you're not allowed to say that nowadays. You're supposed to say that she's really strong. You know what it was? You weren't a strong enough man to handle her telling you what your fucking opinion should be. Jesus Christ. What kind of fucking world are we living in? What kind of world are we living in that shit gets taken away from people? Some of this bull, I don't know. I try to dance around this shit because I don't want to get involved in this stuff. But, I don't get this. I don't understand what the fuck goes on with these. I don't. We'll just leave it at that. With this whole fucking woke thing. This whole woke thing. Remember that? That was like black people came up with that, and somehow white people hijacked it. It's just a way to fucking. It's just this way to just show what a great person they are without really doing anything.